Hello and welcome to Scale Car Garage and part 4 of taking a die-cast car and making it into a slot car. And well, we're at that stage where we need some silicone. And as the box says, let's make it now. So let's get to it here at Scale Car Garage. Now in part 3, I basically showed how to, well, use clean clay to start the mold making process. And what we really did, what we've done I should say, is we are creating the first pour. So the one side of the part is going to be actually put and made into a mold, and then the clean clay, it will be removed, the part reinserted into the silicone mold with some release agent, of course, and then a second pour will be made. So these are 2-part molds, and they require 2 pourings. So this is the first pour. Now, I've done a really detailed exposition of how to make silicone molds, and I will leave the URL in the description below so you can follow that step by step by step. I'm just going to basically do a quick sort of, almost Keystone Cops kind of showing of what I do to pour the first pour and then the second pour and so forth. So it'll be compressed in time for you, and then show hopefully the finished molds that will be then hopefully ready for casting. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's break open that box of silicone and start mixing some rubber to make these molds. The first step is to prepare the silicone. I'm using a product from Smoothcast called Mold Max 30. In the box there are 2 parts to the silicone, part A and part B. They're mixed at a ratio of 10:1 by weight. Once the proper amounts are determined and mixed together, the mixture is then placed in a vacuum chamber to remove the air that is introduced to the silicone during the mixing process. Allowing the first pour to cure overnight, the silicone is carefully removed from the mold box. With the next step being the removal of the clean clay and the part to be cast. Release agent is sprayed onto the mold to ensure that the silicone molds separate as intended. Then the part is reinserted to await the second pour. Once the second pour is done and cured, the molds are separated, the parts removed, and the silicone is placed in a convection toaster oven at 100 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. All right, so I did a little bit of a montage there. I've already done, I guess, a detailed exposition on how to make molds and so forth, and I'll leave the link in the description of this video. Just finishing up here, the last batch of molds that were in the oven overnight, and again I'll explain why this is done. Let me just unplug here. This is done to get as much of the alcohol evaporated from the molds as possible, and it really extends the life of these molds. And this is the last batch. This is a door. Let me see that. The door card and the dashboard. So here's here's one side of the molds here. I'll just take the other sides here. And also, full disclosure here, folks, sometimes things don't go exactly to plan, and you know, it happens with everybody, and it even happens, of course it happens to me. For example, I had to do a second pour of this door card, which is, you know, the inside panel of the door of the truck, and the door itself. And let me show you what happened here. I've got them right here. And this can happen sometimes. Things can sometimes just, you have little mishaps that you don't have control over. But considering all the molds that we've made for this project, to have only 2 that had a little bit of an issue, in my book, is pretty good. So the door card, for some reason, it moved, and it just did not. The second pour here was just not good. You can see how it got in here. So I had to, you know, do it again. Same thing with the actual door. And for some reason, it moved while I was pouring or something. Doesn't have, but things like this happen. Don't despair, because you just, well, do the second pour over again. No big deal. Now the other good thing too is that, believe it or not, you can actually recycle this. If you slice it up or put it in bricks for a larger mold to make up some volume, the only thing silicone sticks to is silicone. So you can actually recycle this. So it's not a total loss. And very few things, you know, are. So yeah, so you don't have to discard these. You can if you want to. I don't, because I'll use this for the next batch of molds I'm going to make. Anyway, next step is to, now that the molds have been properly baked, well, we have to pour some resin. So we'll do that. I guess that's the next step. That's what happens next. Thank you so much for being with me here at Scale Car Garage, and I'm looking forward to see just how well these molds perform. So hopefully we'll see you then, and thank you so much for joining me here at Scale Car Garage. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe.